Lessons in Dating. We're on episode 1 today, where we're talking about our personal why and our personal dating stories.
I'm Tracey.
And I'm Cassandra, and let's dive in.
Sounds good. So you and I have been friends for quite a while, and obviously we're both therapists at the same time.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
And we're both single currently.
And we have so many dating experiences that we relate on so much. Like the ups and the downs and the emotions and the laughs and the oh my goshes and like what just happened.
Yeah, we have lots of things we've dished to each other.
So many stories.
So many. And so really what started this journey of starting the podcast was we were chit-chatting, we were just like connecting and having conversation, and it was mostly through like Facebook Messenger.
Yes, yeah.
And we're just like bantering back and forth and like, oh my gosh, like what just happened today?
Yes,
and
yes.
I can't believe that this happened. And then ups and downs and all these emotional things.
Yeah.
And so we were talking, and you have a podcast.
Yes, I have my own podcast.
I have wanted to start a podcast.
Yes.
And so I think like it just was this natural, very organic coming together of
absolutely.
two incredible women on the same journey.
Queens.
And here we are.
And I think there was a point that literally we both said at the same time, this is so relatable.
It's
so relatable on our experiences, because we're not the only ones in the dating world. And just because we're therapists doesn't mean it's any different than anyone else in the dating world.
No.
I mean, it is relatable on a million levels.
It is.
You know?
And in fact, it can be a little bit more treacherous.
Yes.
There is this,
I
don't want to say judgment, but sometimes there's judgment,
Oh, absolutely.
And so, we certainly have all of these stories to tell, and we have this professional advice that we give to our clients.
Absolutely.
And then we use it in our own we use it in our own lives.
Yes. I mean, it's just been this awakening for both of us to just be able to say, we need to put this out there, because as much as we laugh and sometimes we have tears and sometimes we're just whoa moments, we know that other people have the same things, and that sense of connection and belonging through this wild ride is something we're we got to do this. Yeah.
And then we're going to laugh a lot too.
We laugh so much. Oh my gosh.
Just be prepared for all the things to happen.
Put your seatbelt on. Yeah. Can you put a seatbelt on a floaty in the pool?
Why not?
You should be able to.
I think that needs to be, there needs to be design for that.
Yeah, I know. Especially in the stories that we have to share. That's for sure. Yeah. But on a serious note, I think this is something that you can relate to as well. In your therapy practice. And I know in my therapy world as well, I work with a lot of women in particular that are really struggling in the dating world. And for so many reasons that of course we can't disclose in those moments, but just either lack of confidence, really not setting boundaries.
That's right.
I mean, just not having great experiences in the dating world. Maybe there's been some dating violence, and just feeling like those patterns and those cycles keep continuing. So on a serious note of the podcast, I think there's going to be so many good resources, guest speakers that are really going to be able to also give some really good sound advice as well.
Absolutely.
In this whole dating journey. So
yes.
Yeah.
We definitely have a lot of professional advice to give. We both are therapists. We both are coaches.
Both queens.
Completely. And so yes, definitely. We have lots of different topics that can be helpful. And one of the things that I think is really relevant is we not only have our own stories, but we have stories of people that we work with. We know,
absolutely.
We know the struggles. It's not just about our own experiences. It's about like what women in general are experiencing out there.
Yeah.
And we also have friends who are single, like either online dating or other ways of meeting people. Like there certainly are some strategies that tend to be more helpful and things that really you could start to think about as a single woman before you get into the dating world too, that would help you be more successful. Because we have not always been successful.
I know. And, right. And sometimes it's those hip waders that you need to, have to put on and when you least expect it.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So really what we're bringing to the table is not only our personal stories, but then also we have professional experience. So I own my own therapy business. It's called Illuminate Counseling. And I specialize in working with women who need EMDR therapy, which is a trauma therapy for PTSD, other kinds of trauma that they've experienced. And I also use other body-based techniques, somatic techniques, things like that. So some of the advice that you might hear might be really geared to somatic healing, being able to connect to your body, because that's sexy. That is sexy. It brings out that sexy energy.
She's bringing sexy back.
That's right. That's right.
She is.
I mean, really connecting to whoever you are.
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
And for some people, that is like connecting to different kinds of energy within you and really being authentic to yourself. So
absolutely.
So what it works for me is different. What works for you is different. What's important to you.
Yep.
And so really you can find a little bit of everything in this story.
A little bit of all of it. That's right. Yes. And I know, like, as we start to share our dating experiences, it's raw, it's vulnerable, right? I mean, there's some messy in there. There's like not so beautiful things, right? And that was like who I was then versus who I am now. And I think that's pretty exciting. Like, as we can share some of our own dating experiences and recognize, like, we're therapists, we're women, and we're just real people trying to find our match in the world. And just because we're therapists doesn't mean it's any easier, right? I mean, not at all, none whatsoever.
Right?
No passes to the front row. No, golden tickets.
It's interesting because I think like there are like different levels of conversations that I've had about that.
Yeah.
Like there have been some people that will just ask that question, are you going to analyze me? And I'm like, no. I mean, like, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like we are wired for compassion, active listening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Just what you're doing right now.
Absolutely.
You're hearing me.
I am hearing it.
Like we're wired for that.
Wired. Yeah.
So it naturally just like not every therapist is this way, right? Like you can't generalize to every single person on the planet here. But we've been around the block and so certainly like having those skills brings a lot to the table.
But it's also for me, some of my experiences in the dating world, men have been very intimidated by my role as a therapist.
Yes.
And it's almost unfortunate because, I see it as a positive. I see myself in a professional role.
Absolutely.
I'm very proud of that. I take a lot of pride in what I do. I love what I do. And, for someone to, take that and want to like run faster than like Forrest Gump, I'm like, but wait, stop.
Because no person who would be threatened by that and who would run would be a good fit
exactly
for either of us.
Right.
We need someone who's going to show up who is imperfect,
absolutely,
just like we are.
Oh, we're flawed
because we are certainly not perfect.
Exactly.
And but there is that like are you going to give me a chance to like have a conversation here? Like, but that really does, like, I've experienced that certainly,
that's the like not so good part of the dating experiences,
So that's why I put it right in my profile. profile. I put right in my profile that I'm a therapist.
Yeah.
So if anybody is like immediately threatened by that, they're not going to match with you.
Exactly.
And so anyway, so maybe I should start and talk about my story.
Your story. Yeah, go ahead.
So really what brought me into the dating world was I got a divorce in 2012. I had...
It's a hot minute ago.
That was a long time ago, right? And so at that time, I'd been married to my ex-husband for 9 years. We had been together for a long time, since high school.
Okay.
And so I only dated one other person for a very brief amount of time in high school. And so I was thrown into the deep end.
Oh boy.
Very quickly.
No life raft. Sink or swim.
Yeah. So I, like, obviously we have like basic skills.
Yeah.
But we're talking like, okay, Match.com.
Oh boy. Right in the beginning.
12 years ago.
I think MySpace was the thing then too.
I think it's... we are dating ourselves. We're like dating ourselves here, but yes, MySpace. Does anybody listening know what MySpace is? Do some internet research on that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Now all the memories are...
The memories that we see. I mean, the good thing I like about MySpace, I remember, is you could change those songs. You can like change the songs. You can't do that on Facebook anymore. There's no feature.
I know. It's just
bring back MySpace.
Sure about that.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
So, but like, I think I have had multiple relationships off of online dating. So can I say it works? Yes, I do think it works. Like I have an old story and then I have a new story.
Yeah.
Right. So the old story is that I have had multiple relationships that have come out of online dating. And so what I would say was like the version of me at that point was not implementing the skills I would implement now. Right.
Because you were different. You were a different person then versus now.
It was pre-therapy as well. So really what my version of the story is that through these experiences, I also professionally started to get trained in trauma work. And then I was like...
You're like, well, wait a minute here.
All right.
Light bulb.
Something needs to happen here for me. And so then, like, obviously I'm like focusing a lot of my energy professionally on my clients and training and whatever. And I'm like, okay. So in my late 30s, I was like, okay, I need to go to therapy and I need to work on trauma specifically. So one of the things I'm certified in is EMDR. If you want to look that up for anybody who has a trauma history, I would highly recommend exploring that. It is eye movement desensitization reprocessing. So that is primarily what I do in my work because that is something that has changed in my life.
Awesome.
And
Good.
I've been able to work on negative core belief systems, like, things like, for example, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of XYZ. Yeah. I'm alone. I'm abandoned. Like we work on all these, whatever it is for you. Or I'm not safe. Like we think about like these negative core belief systems that come from a history, a lifetime.
Absolutely.
Of our own lives. And then of course it's going to affect your relationships when you're dating.
Yeah.
So I worked on my version of that, strengthened adaptive belief systems, which like really empowered me, built my confidence up. I started noticing patterns. I started setting boundaries better. And like the new version, I, went from attracting individuals who tended to be they tended to have narcissistic personality features. I'm not here to diagnose people. Right. It's not our role. In that capacity, but like it really was a pattern of behavior, and I have broken that pattern, thankfully.
Which is awesome. So that would be like a partner who wants to continually try to flip you off of your floaty in the dating pool, in the pool,
in the deep end,
versus floating with you on a floaty, like side by side.
Well, and they would also flip you off. They would flip you off of the floaty and say, "Why did you fall off?"
Yes. Why did you fall off? I'm leaving. I gotta go leave. I'm leaving out of the pool and leaving you stranded.
So that certainly, that was an old version and experiences that I had. And now I would say in the last couple of years, I definitely have experienced something completely different.
Good.
And definitely a different energy in myself. So of course you attract what you give out to the world. So I attracted more healthy individuals, not necessarily like I think perfect, right?
Like, right. Well, sure.
No one's perfect, and so, but they're like, they still like, because I'm single now, like they were not good matches for other reasons. There were some communication deficits, or like different energies, or whatever it may be, that like just didn't align, and that's okay.
But you're a lot more, what you know for yourself now, how you show up now for yourself and for a potential partner is so different.
It is
because you're healthy.
Completely different.
And healed versus that version of you that wasn't healed and wasn't able to show up in the way that you needed.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
So definitely I have found... I'm going to say good men in air quotes here for people who are listening on the podcast versus the video here. Like we talked about, like what makes a good man, right? Like, and if you think about like, basic respect, loyalty, wanting to communicate, wanting to build something. And for me, I want a serious monogamous relationship. So that's important to me. And so, those basic things, and like chivalry is like, to me, that's an important thing. It doesn't have to happen all the time, but like this energy of masculinity, like really grounded masculine energy is super hot.
Wow.
So anyway,
yes.
But like that is really, and what that means is like they have their shit figured out.
Right.
And not 100% completely.
Right.
But you're working towards it. You're
Absolutely.
working on yourself. You're prioritizing your needs.
Yeah.
And I need someone who's doing that. So
nice.
So there we go.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I mean, you had a whole lot happening.
There.
But the excitement now to be in the dating world for different reasons and really good reasons.
Right. Yes, right? Exactly. It feels good.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun.
Yeah.
Like 90% fun.
Yeah.
Maybe even more.
I'd say more because she tells me. She tells me.
Oh, yes, I do.
I get the tea. Oh, yes.
But it is. It's so different because I think about like before, I was like not confident in myself. Like, really allowing more things to happen than I would ever allow in a relationship or how to be treated. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us all about your story.
Yes. Where is the drum roll, please? Right. Right. Okay. So, I know for myself now that I didn't know then is my unresolved childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And being unhealed from that really impacted not only my relationship with myself and what self-love was and what unconditional love was, but what it meant in the dating world. I've had 2 failed marriages. And part of that is when I wasn't loving myself, it was hard for me then to know what healthy love was and really understand that unconditional peace.
Right.
And I can say that there was a time in my life where I had a partner who loved me unconditionally. Yeah. And I didn't realize that's what it was. I didn't understand it. And because my trauma was unhealed, I was a runner. I ran I was running and running and running.
Absolutely.
And the funny thing was I was also chasing after, I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to be loved.
Right.
And that's a big part of unhealed trauma, right? Absolutely. I mean, it's such a big part of it. And so like, as I was trying to like chase after, I just want to be loved. Yeah. I had it in front of me and it was healthy. And I didn't realize that's what it was. Absolutely. Because I was still not loving myself. Right. And because of that, I was so blurred in my own vision. And so that unresolved trauma really impacted my ability to have healthy relationships and connections with people. Mm-hmm. And so just like what you were describing, boundaries was a struggle, right? I mean, if I didn't respect myself and love myself, how do I know what a boundary even is? Right. You know? Yes. And so my reason for getting into the dating world, you know, I've been in and out of it, you know, for quite a while. And I've had a couple, you know, longer term relationships along the way, but toxicity because of that unhealed piece of me. So until I was able to get into therapy as well and stop running from myself, literally, because that's what trauma is, right?
That's like really what you're doing.
Yeah. When you have unresolved trauma, you are running from yourself because of that hurt and pain. So getting into therapy, same as you, really just changed my view of myself, healthy love, what I was looking for, all the things that were so important. Because my whys going into that, you know, dating for so long up until that point was loneliness, desperation, lack of confidence, going after anyone and everyone who gives me a smile.
Right.
And unfortunately, I experienced some pretty tough dating violence because of some of those reasons, you know, of not getting into a place where I saw myself as worthy and deserving and important and valued. I saw myself pretty low in the totem pole. Right. And so my choices of people were pretty low as well. And not to be negative in that way, but it's real. Yes, it was real. I mean, I wasn't seeing myself in a positive way. And so who I was choosing for partners weren't healthy. And going through those experiences, it's such a life changer. And especially like already having trauma and then dealing with dating violence, like a whole nother layer opened up wounds, right?
Right.
So I mean, therapy also really, really put me in this whole different perspective and piece where I'm at now within myself to go into the dating world in a whole different version. I show up differently for myself in the dating world. I'm having more fun with it. I know exactly who I am. I'm solid in who I am. I'm solid in what I'm looking for. Yes. I'm solid in the qualities that need to be there. And I don't feel like I'm too picky. I don't feel like I'm, I mean, I'm just
Keep
like,
those
you know what?
Ladies.
Yes,
Keep
yes.
The standards.
Like I know what I'm looking for.
Keep them high. I cannot say that more. I have heard that so many times from my clients that, my friends say that like the bar's too high. Keep that bar high.
Keep it high.
You know,
that's where you need to be.
And you know, obviously within reason for yourself, like what's important to you.
Yeah. But you have to have that healed version of yourself.
Right.
And know that going out there is a whole different ballgame than loneliness and desperation. And I don't want to do life alone and everything. I prefer not to do life alone, but I know that I can until I find the perfect match for me. And I'm okay with that, right?
Yep.
So one of the things you and I have talked about with just conversations between you and I is there are times that I've had to step out and take some breaks out of the dating world because of some of the experiences that kind of get exhausting. There are times that it can be
tiring.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, and again, and that's really what it was. Right. And I don't know if you've had to do that along the way too, but just kind of reevaluate things sometimes and say, okay, let me just take a step back for a moment here.
Yeah.
Right. Because the other thing that I notice is, and you notice this too, because we've talked about it, is people's energies, you know, people's energies. And so I've had to take steps back because of energy that is just too much.
It's too
much. It's not healthy.
Or it's low energy.
Yes. Yeah.
And and that communicates something
Absolutely.
Without words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's ever anybody on the planet that could probably read that very quickly, that would be us.
Yes, so, exactly. Yeah. So I'm excited for this podcast because we're willing to be raw and vulnerable and honest and share these things, not only because it's healthy for us to be able to do that and to be able to give each other support and encouragement, but I think also for our listeners out there to recognize, like, the more you understand and you hear and you learn about us, you're going to learn how real we are as women and not just our role as a therapist. And we want people to also relate and recognize and understand, like, the dating world could be really hard if you make it that way. It could be challenging if you're not healthy or healed.
Right.
It could be a lot of different things, but you got to make sure that you are your best self when you show up, so you can be your best self in a relationship and be healthy and know what healthy is.
That's right. And we are here to help these ladies guide themselves and navigate the treacherous waters.
Yes, exactly.
Sometimes it's just like a wading pool, right?
When they crank the waves and like the wave, what is that called in the wave pool? And they crank them on, and you're just like holding on for dear life.
You're holding on. Yep.
We've had those experiences.
We have had
those. Yes.
And so what you can do
in the radar,
moment, you can walk right out of there and take some breaks. You can be better prepared and have a bigger life raft. Like, there's all sorts of things that we are going to
so many things.
Like throw in the mix, throw in the pool. It's going to be great.
Yes. And just like swimming, just like being in a pool, sometimes we need to get out and take a break.
Yep.
And that's okay, right?
Put the sunscreen on.
Lay out and just take it in.
Drink that fruity drink.
And grab a refill if you ever need to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Be sipping on that.
Yes. Yeah. So we are excited that you're joining us. Hope you're excited about this podcast as well. And hopefully you've taken away some good things for yourself and find that you can relate today and some of the things we've talked about. And we hope that your journey is an amazing one.
Yes, we're here for it.
Yes.
It's going to be great.
All right. Episode 2.
Yes.
Our episode 2 is...
Okay, so our episode 2 is, how do you know you are ready to start dating?
So grab Kleenex, grab chocolate.
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful.
It's going to be we will tune in soon. Catch us on episode 2.